I'm Scott Davidson with the Armchair Generals, and I'm going to give you a really quick rundown of the Microsoft E3 2017 press conference. So we started off with Scorpio, which is actually called the Xbox One X, which is just continuing the tradition of Microsoft's weird naming system. So they gave us a bunch of technical detail, teraflops and googits and whatever. Basically, it's 4K, it's really nice, it's really shiny, and it's one of the most powerful consoles, supposedly. I don't know enough about the tech to back that up. If you do, pop in the comments, oh no, they were totally legit, or no, they're completely nonsense. So the Xbox One X is going to be able to operate all of the Xbox One and Xbox One S tech. You're not going to need any adapters or any special bits of tech. It all carries over. Same with the games, which is, pretty cool. So after we got the gratuitous tech out the way, we then got to see the first game, which was Forza 7. It looks pretty. It's a racing game, as you know, Forza. Fancy Porsche GT2 RS, if you're into your cars. It's Forza, man, it's racing, it's back on tracks and so on. The weather effects do look good. We saw two simultaneous bits of gameplay, one on a dry track, one on a wet track. The wet track was definitely much slider, so it looks like the environment will have an effect on the actual performance of the car, which is always a good thing for a driving game. And that is coming October 3rd, so not that long to wait, really, for your Forza. We then saw the moody, claustrophobic, kind of brooding Metro Exodus. It looks really, really pretty from the slice that we saw. It's going open world by all accounts, and it looks so cool. There were lots of little moments. There's a moment when the player's fighting a big sort of ogre monster thing at a cliff edge. And as he runs up, you see pebbles skipping off the side of the cliff. It looks really good. It looks almost dynamic in the way you can play. That may have been a set piece, so it might not be fair to base the whole thing on it, but it did look pretty sweet, man. The wildlife returns. You have your trusty crossbow, which you can retrieve the bolts. It looks great, and that is coming in 2018. We then went on to Assassin's Creed Origins, set in ancient Egypt. This is really the founding of the Assassin's Order. It looked really cool. Your eagle vision, instead of having just glowing lines that you can see through walls, it's an actual eagle. That's cool. So there's a few different types of weapons that we saw. They're introducing more RPG elements, and we saw some sort of item and weapon management in the menus that looked really it looked really interesting, and it looks like you're going to be able to actually tailor your layout to how you like to fight. A cool moment as well, jumping from a tree with a bow and arrow, time slowed down and he took the shot. That looked pretty cool. So it's Assassin's Creed. It does look like it's a pretty big change to what we've had so far. Obviously we've been getting progressively more up to date in terms of the current timeline. So I think it's good to go back to ancient Egypt and just reset everything. That I think is one to watch, definitely. The next thing that really kind of got my attention was State of Decay 2. Now we saw a reveal trailer for this last week, but it looks cool, man. It looks like it's taken everything that State of Decay did and it's turning that up to 11. Item management, resource management, even decision-based gameplay of do you try and cure someone that's been bitten, or do you blow them away? I think Undead Labs did a really good job on the first one, and I'm kind of excited for the second one. Another exclusive was the Darwin project that looks kind of like the Culling in a way. It looked like the Culling, but less cartoony. I've got nothing else for that one. We then saw the traditional Minecraft, the super duper looking pack that's going to come out with improved textures and so on. We also saw Dragon Ball Z Fighter, which is coming early 2018. That is a Dragon Ball Z game where you fight. I've never known a Dragon Ball Z game where you don't fight. We then saw Black Desert, which is an MMORPG. It looks pretty cool. There was definitely a few different character types in there, melee-based characters, magic-based characters, all tackling big monsters. I'm down with that. We then saw The Last Night, which is a sort of Monkey Island-looking game that kind of reminded me a bit of Blade Runner. I'm not really sure why, but you know, it looked kind of pretty, a little bit unorthodox, but that seems to be a growing trend. And then we saw something that really kind of weirded me out. It was The Artful Escape. It looked really pretty, but it was just weird. It was like the developers had dropped a tab of acid before they started developing it. I'm not saying that's a bad way to make games, but, you know, maybe get someone that's teetotal to check over the trailer first. No, I mean, it has a really nice art style. It is kind of psychedelic, and put me in mind of some sort of weird TV shows like The Mighty Boosh. From there, it went on to Sea of Thieves. We saw some gameplay, so we know now there's, you know, ground-based combat, ship-based combat, exploration, sharks in the water. You're a pirate. It's pirate MMO. Looks kind of good. Looks kind of funny in some situations, but we'll find out later. That's coming early 2018. And Cuphead, it's critically acclaimed, even though it's not out yet. Cuphead, the really retro, old-school cartoon-style side-scrolling game, has a release date. Finally has a release date, and it is coming on September 29th. We then had a surprise visit from Terry Crews for Crackdown 3. You know, step up your boom. If Terry Crews tells you to do something, you do it. Crackdown 3 is coming. It looks pretty cool. It's coming on November 7th this year. We then had the huge run of Idea Xbox games. Too many for me to mention in this quick video, but you know, some of them certainly show promise. Some of them look really good. Microsoft, they have been doing good work over the last couple of years with the indies through Idea Xbox. So I think some diamonds in the rough there. We then saw Ashen, which is, I'm not really sure what it is, but it's tantalizingly beautiful. It's by Aurora 44. It is an Xbox One exclusive. It's got a really, the stylistic approach they've taken to it is very, very nice. It's very pleasing to the eye. It looks like there is going to be an element of exploration, combat, and all of the clips that we saw, there were 2 people, so co-op maybe, I don't know. But it did look pretty, so that's one I think to keep an eye on. Yeah. Keep your eye on it. Just like that. You'll be fine. So episode 1 of Life is Strange Before the Storm is coming. Life is Strange. Enough said. We then saw some gameplay of Shadow of War, the sequel to Shadow of Mordor. It looks like it's expanding on the Nemesis system. There seem to be different attacks. I'm sure I saw a spear in the gameplay, which was cool. I'm down with that. It looks good. It was funny. The writing was funny, but we did have that issue in the first game in Shadow of Mordor, where Ratbag was really funny and it looked really sort of interactive and dynamic, and then when the game came out, he was scaled right back. So I'm not sure if it is going to be quite what we saw in terms of the interaction, but you know, a man can hope. Or a bright lord can hope, I suppose. Oh, and this next one. Ah, so excited, so excited. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Another Ori game. Ah, it's beautiful. I was watching it on the stream, and I heard the piano. I thought, oh, that sounds. Oh, is that? Oh, oh. And then it came in. You saw a feather floating. I was, yeah. Once again, not a lot of gameplay shown, or any really, but it's Ori. Ori's back, folks. It's right in the field. In a surprise announcement, Microsoft have come out and said that they are rolling the Xbox compatibility program out further from the 360. Yep, that's right. They're working on original OG Xbox games. Oh, give me brute force. Give me brute force. So the theory is that you will be able to actually play OG Xbox games on your Xbox One, Xbox One S, or Xbox One X. I think I got that right. And on the back of the compatibility, we were told that the Xbox One X is launching November 7th, and it's going to be $499 or about £450. We then got to see what I'd been waiting for the whole conference, BioWare's new IP, Anthem, which was teased at the EA Play conference the other day. So it looks like a shared world shooter. It's a game where customization is of course a very important factor. You level up and you have, I wouldn't go so far as to call them battle suits, but they kind of look like battle suits, man. So there's customizable options in there about what approaches you want to take. Players can drop into the game. It does look very sort of Destiny-esque. It's like if Destiny had a baby with Titanfall and the Division came over every now and then and put the keys in a bowl. It's looking like that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if you're open to keys in a bowl, I suppose. Don't think I am. But the game did look pretty. The explosions and the lighting effects looked really nice. You could fly in these suits, you could bug out if there was trouble. It looked like there's a huge destructive capability in these player controlled suits. Won't get your hopes up too high. I think it's, instead of going down the full RPG route, I think it is definitely going along the shared world shooter route. So it's interesting to see if that's going to pan out. Got my eye on you, BioWare. But that was the conference. I have missed out quite a few games because they mentioned over 40 of them, over 20 of which are Xbox or Microsoft exclusives. You're getting a new console with teraflops and such. So, not bad, not bad. Now, we just have to wait to see what Ubisoft and Sony have to say on the matter. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to tell us what your favourite game is of the conference, your favourite announcement, just pop it in the comments. Just down there. And someone will get back to you. We might have to hire someone, but we will. If you enjoyed the video, why not give us a like? If you really liked it, why not subscribe? Because you know we'll do things other channels won't.
Yes.
Behind the scenes stuff.
Yes, we will.
Not just on anniversaries.
You're getting weird again.
I'm getting weird.